how to get whatever you want. Here's what it says if you're ready. It says, ask. That's it. End of notes. Ask. If there's one art in life to learn extremely well, that's got to be one of them. The art of asking.
Ask, end of notes. 3 words. But most people won't. They'll keep crushing without direction, wishing for more, while never daring to name what more even is. And that's where the first brutal truth begins. Brutal truth number 1, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you demand. You think working hard is enough? Think again. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards clarity, audacity, precision. Jim Rohn said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Stop playing polite with your future. If you're not willing to boldly ask for it, define it, chase it like your life depends on it, then don't complain when mediocrity is what you get. A man wakes up at 6 a.m. every day, commutes, grinds, does what's expected. But his dreams, never written down, his goals, unclear. He thinks he's sacrificing now for later. But later never comes, because he never claimed it. Compare that to the man who asks, who writes, who plans, who sees his life like a sculpture, unfinished, raw, but in his hands. This is your moment. Write the plan, sharpen the discipline, choose your circle, kill the old self, hold your time like it's slipping through your fingers, because it always is. Because in the end, it's not about motivation. It's not about luck. It's about decision. And this is the one that rewrites everything. Brutal truth number 2. Discipline isn't a trait. It's a choice you make daily. Jim Rohn once said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Let that settle in. You can have all the dreams, all the vision boards, all the affirmations in the world, but without discipline, none of it matters. None of it. Discipline isn't something you inherit. It's not in your bloodline. It's not just the way you are or something you're born with. It's a decision, one made in the dark, in silence, when nobody's watching. Let me paint you 2 pictures. One man wakes up at 5 a.m., not because it's easy, not because he loves it, but because he said he would. And when he says something, he means it. He runs even when it's cold. He works when it's boring. He reads when he'd rather scroll. He's not chasing motivation. He's following a standard, his own. Now the other man, he also wants more. He talks a good game, but he snoozes. 1 skipped day becomes 2. 2 becomes a week. And now, he's not just losing time, he's losing trust with himself. That's the hidden cost of discipline. It's not just about habits, it's about identity. Every time you do what you said you would, even when it's hard, you stack self-respect. You build trust in your own word. And eventually, that becomes power. But break that trust often enough, and you'll become someone you can't even rely on. Someone said it best, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Think about that. Regret isn't some soft ache. It's a weight, a burden, a chain you carry forever, all because you kept choosing comfort over calling. And here's the truth they won't tell you. Motivation won't save you. You won't always feel like it. The fire fades. The hype videos end. But what doesn't fade is who you choose to be when the fire's out. You want to know the secret to a powerful life? It's this. You do the thing, even when it's inconvenient, even when it hurts, even when no one's clapping, especially when no one's clapping. That's discipline. And here's the wild part. You're never more than one decision away from being that person. One rep, one early morning, one commitment you actually keep. But most won't do it. Why? Because it's boring. because it's not sexy, because it's not Instagrammable. They want the results without the repetition, the glory without the grind. But that's not how this game works. In the real world, discipline eats talent. It crushes potential, and it separates the wishers from the warriors. So here's your test. What's one thing you've been saying you'll do, but haven't? Now imagine doing it, not once, but daily, relentlessly. That's not discipline, that's transformation, the kind that rewrites your life. Brutal truth number 3, your environment is either feeding you or killing you. You think you're strong enough to rise in a toxic environment? Think again. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." It's one of those quotes people post, but few truly understand. Because if they did, they'd burn their circle to the ground. Your environment is shaping you, always. It's not passive, it's not neutral. It's either building you or breaking you. There is no in between. Let me tell you about a man named Khalid. Khalid was smart, driven, hungry. He had dreams of building a business, getting in shape, moving out of the city. But every time he got momentum, his circle pulled him back. His boys laughed at his side hustle. "Man, you think you're better than us now?" When he ordered a salad instead of wings, they mocked him. When he skipped a night out to work on his craft, they called him obsessed. At first, he shrugged it off. But over time, he stopped showing up for himself, started shrinking to fit in, started dumbing down his ambitions so his circle wouldn't feel insecure. And just like that, the fire faded, not because he wasn't capable, but because he was surrounded by people who weren't ready to rise. Here's the real tragedy. Most people won't need to be destroyed. They'll just be slowly, quietly dulled until they forget who they were trying to become in the first place, because mediocrity is contagious. Doubt is contagious. So is gossip. So is laziness. So is comfort. But so is greatness. And that's the other side of this truth. Same Khalid. One day he gets invited to a local business meetup. Doesn't want to go. Feels out of place. But something pulls him there. He walks in. And for the first time in a long time, he feels small. Not because he's being judged, but because the people in that room are playing a bigger game. And instead of pulling him down, they pull him up. They don't mock his goals. They challenge them. They don't question his vision. They expand it. Within 3 months, he's waking up earlier, eating cleaner, reading more. Within a year, new job, new friends, new mindset, new life. Not because he changed who he was, but because he finally stepped into an environment where growth was normal. And that's the shift. That's the brutal truth. You're not broken. You're just planted in the wrong soil. You're trying to bloom around weeds, trying to evolve while being constantly reminded of your limitations, trying to build an empire surrounded by demolition crews. So let me ask you, who are your 5? Who are you letting whisper into your soul every day? What are you tolerating in your space? What kind of energy are you inhaling? Because over time, you become it. The tone, the pace, the values, the language. Everything around you is programming your mind or poisoning it. This isn't about being elitist. It's about being intentional. You've got one life, one shot. You don't have the luxury of casual energy. So change the room before the room changes you. Brutal truth number 4, growth requires death. Everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants to lose. That's the paradox of transformation. You can't evolve and stay the same. Something has to die, a belief, a behavior, a version of you. Jim Rohn said it plainly, for things to change, you have to change. Not adjust, not tweak, change. But most people don't want change. They want upgrade without sacrifice. They want elevation without destruction. They want to carry their old identity into a new life. You can't. Growth is just violent. It's not romantic. It's not a clean, upward climb. It's messy, bloody, confusing. It's death. Let me take you to a moment. A guy's sitting alone in his apartment. He's got a stable job, decent income, some good friends, but something's off. He looks around and realizes every part of his life was built to serve the old him, the version of him who played small, who chose comfort over courage, who talked about dreams but never chased them. And suddenly, every part of his life feels like a prison. So he makes the hardest choice of his life. He starts letting go. He pulls away from friends who only knew his past. He ditches the fake smile and starts saying no. He gets uncomfortable, alone, misunderstood. He doesn't glow up overnight. He grieves, because that's what real growth feels like. You don't just rise, you bury the need for approval. You bury the idea that success must be instant. You bury the comfort that's been slowly killing you with kindness. Here's what no one tells you. Your next level will cost you your last one. And it's not a gentle transition, it's a funeral. You will cry. You will doubt. You will be tempted to go back, because what you knew, even if it was broken, felt safe. But growth doesn't come from safety. It comes from risking identity, from burning the old rulebook you live by, from questioning everything your past self swore was true. Growth is walking into the fire on purpose and knowing damn well you're not coming out the same. Use the phoenix. That myth exists in every culture for a reason, because that's what you are. Not a machine to be optimized, but a soul that must be reborn. The snake sheds its skin. The butterfly leaves the caterpillar behind. And you? You're not meant to improve the old you. You're meant to kill it. That version of you who flinches at hard conversations. The one who keeps dating people who drain them. The one who scrolls through life, convincing themselves it's research. That person? Gone. Because that person can't come with you. And I'll be honest, the space in between? It's hell. You're not who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. You're in the in-between, the shedding, the painful, quiet middle. But that's where transformation happens. It's where you wrestle with your demons, where you bleed, where you question. And if you keep walking, it's where you finally break through. So when people say they want to grow, I ask them, what are you ready to bury? Because if your answer is nothing, you're not ready for the life you're asking for. Every dream has a body count. Comfort dies, ego dies, fear dies, versions of you die. And if you're brave enough to kill the old self, you'll meet a version of you that's unrecognizable, wiser, sharper, quieter, but louder in the ways that matter. That's not just growth, that's rebirth. So welcome to the fire. Now let it burn. All right, this is it. The final and most brutal truth. The one that doesn't knock, it breaks the door down. This isn't just motivation, it's a mirror. Here we go. Brutal truth number 5. Time isn't money, it's life, and you're spending it fast. You've heard it before. Time is money. But Jim Rohn said something better. Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Read that again. Because we don't live like we believe it. You think you have time? Let me break that illusion. If you're 30, you've already spent over 15,000 waking days. Most of them you don't even remember. They vanished into routines, into scrolling, into I'll start tomorrow, but the clock didn't stop. It never stops. You don't feel the loss because time doesn't scream. It just slips quietly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and you're out of it. Let me tell you about a man on his deathbed. His name doesn't matter because he could be anyone. He wasn't poor. He wasn't hated. He didn't fail at life. But as he stared at the ceiling in his final days, his eyes filled with a regret so heavy it was crushing. Not because of the things he did, but because of the things he never did. The book he never wrote, the risks he never took, the woman he never pursued, the child he never fully connected with, because he was busy. He had time until he didn't. And in the end, he realized something terrifying. Most people don't run out of time. They just never used it right. They survived instead of living. So let me ask you, how much of your life are you trading for nothing? The job you hate? That's not just 8 hours a day. That's your one life. The goal you keep saying someday to? That's not waiting patiently. It's dying. Time doesn't pause for indecision. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care if you're tired, unsure, or scared. It just goes. And every hour you waste is a piece of your future you bury alive. You say, I'll do it when I have more time. But time isn't something you have. It's something you spend. You don't get a receipt. You don't get a refund. Every second is a withdrawal. And your balance, it's hidden from you. People think death is the enemy. It's not. Comfort is, delay is, excuses are, because death at least ends your life once. But wasting time, that's death by 1,000 tiny cuts. You want to build something? Then stop saying later. Build it now. Start ugly. Start scared, but start. You want to fix that relationship? Then pick up the damn phone. Say what needs to be said. Apologize, forgive, connect. Now you want to change your body? Don't wait for Monday. Start now. You want to escape the life you're tolerating? Then act like time is running out. Because it is. Look around. People are sleepwalking, zombie scrolling, working 40 years for a gold watch and a flat retirement. And one day, when the lights dim and the air gets heavy, they'll ask the one question that haunts every grave. What if I had? What if I had tried? What if I had risked it? What if I had lived with urgency instead of fear? But you don't have to wonder, because right now, you know this moment matters. You know the clock is ticking. You know you're not promised next week. Hell, not even tomorrow. And that knowledge, that's your power. So stop living like you have unlimited time. Stop wasting hours on people who don't value you. Stop delaying your dreams because you want the timing to be perfect. It never will be. The perfect time is a myth sold to the fearful. You don't need perfect. You need urgent. Every day is a blank check. Spend it on what matters. And if you don't know what matters yet, figure it out fast. Because the longer you wait to find purpose, the louder your regrets will be when your time's up. Now look around your life. Everything you built is a reflection of what you prioritized, not what you wanted, what you chose. You don't need another 10 years. You need 1 year used right. One focused, intense, intentional year can erase the last decade of drift, but only if you treat time like oxygen, like something sacred, something finite, something that matters more than anything. Because in the end, time isn't money. Time is you. And once it's gone, so are you. So now you've seen it all. The 5 brutal truths. They weren't easy to hear. They weren't meant to be. Because transformation never begins with comfort. It begins with confrontation. You either run from it or you rise into it. Jim Rohn said, "Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you." You've got breath. You've got hours. You've got a spark still burning inside. So what are you going to do with it?